Right. Welcome in, everybody. So, let me turn off the stream countdown. We are going to be doing something new today, which is a face cam. We finally got moved into the new place, and I have a setup where it actually makes sense to use that, which it did not before. So, you can all hold your surprise when I look different than you thought I would. I know a couple of my favorite YouTubers started out without face cams and then they added one, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so weird to see their face now. I imagined something totally different. Even though you don't even know what it is you're imagining, it's just interesting when you only have a voice alone and then all of a sudden you see a face. So, here we go. There's the face cam. Hello, everybody. So I'll definitely be using this for streaming as we move forward, and I'm trying to decide if I want to use the face cam for Factorio videos or not. You guys can let me know in the comments if that interests you, if you're watching this on YouTube. I think there's an interactive piece to the Twitch streaming where facecam makes even more sense, but is there the same interactivity with a video? Definitely not. But do people still want to see my face while I talk? Maybe there's, the joy of seeing someone process surprise and joy and difficulty. I don't know if that's enjoyable for people or not. So we'll try things out. I might do one with the face cam and ask people what they think, and they can tell me in the comments. My YouTube videos get a lot more views than generally the Kerbal Space Program streams are my least watched videos. So only a few of you are actually going to watch this and answer this question. So I'll probably do some Factorio video questions as well. I'll also have to play around with where it is on the screen because I don't know exactly what'll be the best spot for Kerbal Space Program, particularly. Another thing I wanted to mention is I got a follow, and unfortunately my follower alert was turned off. I didn't get that turned on until just a minute ago. So Foregathers, or Foregathers, it's spelled like forefathers, but with a G. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to Crydania. And we're going to be playing some Kerbal Space Program today. Thankfully, Linux Guru Gamer, who is what I've phrased as a saint among men, helped me fix the problem. It was actually an issue with Chronometer, the mod Chronometer, which is included within JNSQ to some level, and I had to replace that manually. And that allowed me to fix a couple mods. I know earlier I was having issues with Precise Maneuver, and now I'm no longer having issues with Precise Maneuver because of the change. And Station Keeping, same thing. So it actually was a multitude of issues that we were having that all got fixed by fixing this Chronometer issue. And so I'm actually very thankful that the game broke, because then that allowed... let's skip to the next day. That allowed for us to correctly have other mods work. So that's fun. Let's see, I just want to kind of recenter myself. Let's take a look at the Space Center in all its beauty. And then, what were we even doing? It's been so long since we played. I think the last thing we did was go to Minmus with a Minmus lander. And unfortunately, do I not have Transfer Window Planer? I wonder if that mod still works. Transfer Window Planer. I'm wondering if it wasn't working because of Chronometer, because I actually really like that mod. I know the base game has, I think, a transfer window planer in it now, so I guess we'll just have to see how that works. What I'd like to do is go to Duna, actually, and that's going to require, let me pop up the Delta V calculator. Oop, that's so zoomed in. Unlock. There we go. So Duna requires about 3,000 total to get there. Now, I'm planning on... I could do... What's the best way to do this? Probably 2 satellites. There's a couple different ways to do this. Because if I don't do a manned mission, then that means I need to have a bunch of satellites. Hey, Devquist, welcome. That's surprising. People generally don't look like you imagine them, only hearing their voice. So I'm glad to hear I am not a surprise. Right now we're trying to figure out how we want to do our first Duna mission. I think, honestly, just a probe that gets there and sends some science back is probably the best way to go. I think I want to work with Ike. I'm also curious, going back into the game here, I know the mod that I got changed, I think, some of the science body, like how much science you get from each body. So, like, we were just at Minmus, which is 3.5 and 2.5 for each. Ike, which is Duna's moon, doesn't have values that much higher. What are the stock values? Yeah, see, the stock values are a lot higher. I think I prefer the stock values. These are so low. So I'm gonna go back to the normal values for these, so I get a bit more science. I think that the mod that does it is whatever mod. I think it's Probes Before Crew is what I have installed, and it reduces science, which I don't love. So we are going to get a little bit more science that way. Actually, a lot more science that way. So what do we want to design first? Maybe I should just go to the moon first. Maybe a manned mission to the moon is going to be better. I can do EVA samples. We want them to be able to plant flags, so I need to upgrade the astronaut complex. Probably wouldn't be bad to have 2 strategies available. And astronaut training program, that's not really what I want. The moon program, plant a flag on the moon. Must have returned a crew from orbit of Kerbal. Oh, I haven't even done any manned missions yet, so let's start with that. And then I want to do the moon program. And that will get me a lot more money for milestone gains, and that'll be great. Okay, so our first mission that we're going to do is a small crewed mission to and from the moon, or to and from orbit. So let's do the Onion re-entry model, which only has a crew capacity of 1. It has its own ablator, which is good. What is this inventory? EVA jetpack, EVA personal parachute. So can I just dump the Kerbal out and not even put a parachute on this whole thing? That's kind of funny. I think I'm going to take those out of the inventory. And now that button is stuck. There we go. So we need a little parachute on top. So we'll pop that on top, and then this is all that we're going to have re-enter. So then we need to do tools, parachute editor. We want touchdown speed of 4. Should be good. Altitude pre-deployment, 10,000 should be fine. Deployment altitude, pre-deployment speed should be fast. Deployment speed, there we go. Okay, and then this just needs to get into orbit. So we need a procedural tank. What is up with that diameter? Uh-oh. Something's very wrong with my procedural tanks. How did that break? What on earth? We'll save and continue. Don't know what's going on with the procedural tanks there. I wonder if maybe it got updated. But I'm surprised. Is it because we haven't done any of these? No, these don't have anything to do with procedural tanks. You'd think with advanced fuel systems, we'd have... Yeah, max volume is 37 kiloliters. So something broke with my procedural tanks. That's not good. I wonder what it was. Maybe I just need to do that. And let's see if that fixed it. Because I had the infinite procedural tanks selected. And I don't know what I actually did with that. But apparently I broke it. So does that help me? Yes, that does seem to have fixed the issue. Or at least up to 37 kiloliters now. So to reach orbit, I think a Terrier is fine. Why is there no delta V? Ah, the decoupler. There we go. So that thing alone almost has enough. 5-minute burn time is too long though. We probably want closer to, yeah, 3-minute burn time. And if I just add 2000 delta V on a stage below this, we should be okay. Still don't have decouplers for some reason here. Don't understand why that's the case. But we should just be able to throw a quick... Let's see, we'll copy this. We'll do a cone. Bottom. Ugh. Yeah, this is really annoying. I might actually restart the game to fix this. Because it completely changes types of things I can make. And then I think a swivel might actually be enough to get us there. Maybe not. Probably not quite enough. Bobcat would do it though. There we go, 1957. So that should work. It's ugly though, because I can't actually get the diameter big enough. Like, I don't know whose idea it was to say, oh yeah, you know, you've unlocked giant fuel tanks that are 2 meters in diameter, but you can't make procedural fuel tanks 2 meters in diameter. Like, whoever balanced that out and picked those numbers, I just don't think they did a good job with the procedure. Procedural fuel tanks should always be able to be as big as your largest fuel tank that you've unlocked. That just makes sense. So yeah, I'm actually going to restart the game real quick. I know it's going to take a minute, but I want to fix this. So we are going to jump out of the game real quick. Oh, look, it crashed. No, it didn't. Oh, I thought it crashed anyway. So let me close out the game. And then we'll throw CCAN up, I guess. And we are going to get transfer window planner real quick. See if that works. I don't need more flags. I'll continue that. And then I will jump in real quick and won't show you guys the file structure of my computer, but I'll do that as fast as I can. I have a game data fast access here, so I can jump into that, find, it's probably procedural parts, procedural parts.cfg, is that the one? No, it is parts, tanks, tank liquid. There it is. Okay, and I just need to change the standard parameters. I'm just curious, with the 37 kiloliter, the length max and volume max are 8 and 37. Oh, maybe I just needed to go purchase the other upgrade. Because the 20 kiloliter upgrade was supposed to have given me a diameter of 3. So I think I just messed something up, but I'm just going to put infinity and 0.1 for minimum. Length minimum, 0.1, length maximum. Infinity, volume minimum, 0.1, volume maximum. Infinity. And save that. I'm going to do the same thing for the RCS tank because I'll probably use that one too sometime soon. Diameter minimum, max, infinity. Copy that. Again, sorry I'm not showing this to you guys. I'm just editing the .cfg files in the game data folder. Save that and exit out, and we should be good to launch the game now. So hopefully that works. We'll see. Thumbs up. I'm gonna drink some water to stay hydrated. And it'll probably take a couple minutes to launch the game. So I can always pull up the Delta V map again and we can look at that for a moment. So we're going to be going to the moon, which this one's important. It's 880 Delta V to land. And then, see. So 880 Delta V. Capture, I think. I'm trying to remember how we do this math for returning from the moon to Kerbin. Because we can aerobrake, meaning all we need to do is get back to the point where we hit the atmosphere. And we can do all of it in one burn. If we do things right, we can do one burn at just the right angle so that we escape the moon's gravity. We kind of swing around back to Kerbin and not land in the atmosphere, but hit the atmosphere, and then that'll slow us down enough to actually not have to do any sort of transfer burn. So I'm trying to remember which numbers I need to care about. Capture is the amount of delta V. So transfer is when we're circular around Kerbin, and then we accelerate. Then that makes our orbit elliptical, such that we then will hit the moon's gravity. And then capture takes us from just hitting the moon's gravity to circularizing around the moon. So the capture plus the ascent is what we're going to need to get back to hit Kerbin. We don't need the transfer delta V on the way back because that would only give us, or that would let us circularize around Kerbin again, which we don't need because we can just hit the atmosphere faster. We just need to make sure to have a good heat shield. So I need, what is that, about 400 plus 900. So 1300 at the minimum. I think it can actually be a little more efficient because you can do it in one burn and do it closer to the moon. And the closer you are to a gravity body when you do a burn, the more efficient it is. So I still think I'm going to go with 1300 though. So whatever I land on the moon with, I need 1300 delta V to get back. And then to land on the moon in the first place, we need how much? 1600, 400, and 900. So that's 2,900, 2,900. So this is going to be a significant mission. I mean, we'll see if we can design something that does this, but it's definitely not. It's not going to be cheap. So we'll see how that works. Because we also need the 5,000 delta V just to get in orbit. So yeah, I guess we can turn off the delta V map and we can watch the game load step by step, and we'll see if it actually gives us the right procedural parts. If not, we'll just have to live with it. Downloading less RAM. Oh no, we need that. We need the RAM. Maybe we'll make something that looks like that. 2-meter large ship. What I'd really like to do, if we have enough extra delta V, is make a lander that can hop to 1 or 2 biomes. Because the amount of biomes we can hit that makes a big difference. Oh, but that means I should do a biome scan of the moon. Man, this game can eat your life. You know, each mission, you're like, oh, well, I want to go do a biome scan of the moon. And that sounds like such a small little satellite mission. But then actually designing it and flying it there is a pretty, that's going to take a couple hours probably just to do that. Or at least 1 hour. But, Davkist, that's a great question. I just realized Twitch chat is also kind of fighting with my what do you call it? My webcam. So I should put Twitch cam in front of that, shouldn't I? We'll try that out. So assuming you want to get into the game, how do you make the learning curve less steep? That's a great question. I think the best answer is watch Scott Manley's videos on YouTube. He has an incredible a variety of videos, a variety of series. If you care about the actual physics of delta V and stuff, he has some great videos on that. It's actually surprisingly simple equations. I mean, we're talking like a senior in high school who's, good at math, but like just the high school level of math can do a lot of these equations that calculate like what's your orbital velocity at a certain point, what's your orbital period is a harder one to calculate, but if you want to know like how much delta V do I need given the gravity of this body to get outside of the orbit, like it's actually not that hard to calculate. The only really tough one that I haven't been able to do, not because I'm not capable, but because it's pretty complicated, is the interplanetary transfer windows. That's pretty messy. But like being able to calculate the delta V you need to get to the moon, that's totally doable at like the high school level of math. Anyway, I digress. The math stuff you don't even need to play the game. Because when you have things like Kerbal Engineer, you can see delta V pretty easily. So yeah, I would just recommend looking at Scott Manley's videos, checking those out, and then just playing the game, honestly. Like learning how to dock. I remember the first time I really understood docking in space, it blew my mind because I didn't understand that orbits, if you're in the same place and you're going at the same velocity vector, you have the same orbit. And that blew my mind. When I was playing the game and I was docking craft, I was like, oh, well, I can get the two craft close to each other, and then I can kill their relative velocity, which, if one thing is passing the other one, then you burn such that it kind of slows down compared to the other one, and then they're kind of both together and drifting together. I still thought somehow that they would end up drifting apart over time. But that's not possible. If two things are in the same place around a planet, going at the same velocity, and they're not moving away from each other, then they're actually in the same orbit. And I mean, it'll be like micrometers different because you're like a few meters away from the other craft, but overall it's the exact same orbit. And that kind of blew my mind. And so there's a lot of little things like that you learn, and just the whole concept of like accelerating only changes the opposite end of your orbit. Those are just things you learn by playing. So I suggest just getting the game and playing it. If there's only 1 or 2 mods I would recommend getting, one of them is Kerbal Engineer, so you have a bit more data. But you don't even need it. They've added delta V into the vanilla game, and so you can actually, you can see the delta V your craft has now without having to have Kerbal Engineer. And honestly, delta V is the most important thing because it essentially measures how far can you go in space, essentially, regardless of, like, it takes into account the weight of your craft. And I'm wondering if I should move my video just a little bit so we can see the buttons down there. That's a little better. So we'll keep that there. All right, so back to designing our untitled spacecraft. Load. So hopefully the changes I made fixed the procedural parts. Let's find out. It did. Okay, perfect. So we want this little cone here. The bottom. There we go. And now this thing should be more than enough to get into orbit and come back. Pretty cheap. I don't think I need to do anything else, actually. We'll do a little launch clamps. I feel like they look cooler if they're up higher. And I think this should work. I mean, launch, decouple and launch, decouple. This thing has its own heat shield. I can even... I don't know how these got back in here. Make it a little bit lighter. And now we just need a Kerbal in there. And I should probably take the pilot. So is that good? Am I forgetting something? I don't need communications. I don't think I need batteries. The engines will allow me to turn the craft. Maybe just a couple fins on the bottom are going to be helpful. Let's do a scaled down version of these. That looks about right. All right, manned orbit. And I should probably start Kerbal manned orbit. Start with the planet that the mission is designed to go around. And I think this should be good. All right. Loading times, the game. Butter is so good. Highly recommend. All right. Let's see. Now is the camera in the way when we're actually flying craft? Not really. This actually seems like a decent place for it still. You're not missing much. I guess I could also put it in the bottom right by the Kerbals, but all you can see on the left is the staging, so I guess I could move it like a smidge so you can still see the staging. Maybe down here's better. I don't actually know. We'll keep it there for now. I'm waffling back and forth. I feel like seeing the Kerbals is more fun than seeing whatever's here in the bottom left. So we'll keep it there. Okay, here we go. Manned orbit. Here we go. Is it gonna work? It should work. So another little fun fact about orbits is it does matter if you go east or west, because the surface of Kerbal is already spinning, and that inertia stays with you. And so it actually matters, like you spend quite a bit more delta V going into a opposite orbit if you go to the west, because the surface is going to the east. Ooh, this is not a very stable craft, is what I'm learning. Those fins maybe need to be a little bigger. This little bulb on top is causing a lot of drag. And so it's around this point where I switch to orbit, and I want to go prograde with the orbit that I'm in, because that's the most efficient direction you can go, is directly along the direction you're already going. Nice. And I would do prograde if I could, but good old Jebediah is not able to do that yet. And science alert just made its little noise, so I can do a crew report. Transmit that back. No comms data. Okay, fine. Alright, I should cut. Oh, I literally cut at the exact same time it cut out, so then we can decouple. And then once we get closer to our apoapsis... Oh, dear. That's not good. Okay. That could have been bad. Then we will ignite this stage. So I'm going to warp forward just a bit. We have a 3-minute burn, so I should actually probably start now. unfortunately going the wrong way, but I need to burn the engine to turn the craft towards our orbit. So I probably just want to go horizontal here. And then I can speed this up by... Oop, too much time warp. I can time warp a little bit. We have an experiment. I should do an EVA report just for fun. EVA science experiment? What? Didn't know that was a thing. What even is that? Doesn't even seem to be working, so whatever. We'll board the craft again. That was weird. It zoomed out really far. Okay, so anyway, back to trying to get into orbit. That might have slowed me down too much. The good news is I still have 3,300 available. This is why you over-engineer your Delta V, is it means you don't really have to be as precise. We have performed a spacewalk in the orbit of Kerbal. Go team. Alright. I have the stream playing on laptop over to the side. That helps me see if anything's really looking incorrect. All right, how are we doing? 3,000 meters per second. Not bad, not bad. You can see the moon over there, that's fun. What is it, like 3,500 for orbit? Something like that? Guess we'll find out. Or maybe 3,800? Yeah, I seem to remember it actually is closer to 4,000. There we go. We are officially in orbit. No messages, though? It's my first manned orbit. Okay, let's do a quick EVA just to make sure there's no milestones there. And then we can deorbit. I go in retrograde for a second. And then I'm gonna F5 to quick save. Jettison the pod. Arm the parachute. And we should be good to go. So I'll just warp. Crap. Science alert needs to be off for a second. Okay. Back to the atmosphere. It should kind of figure itself out with stability. But it seems to be okay. The ablator is helping out. Slowing down pretty rapidly. Oh yeah, we're good. We are good to go. Our little cannonball. I think it's somewhere around 2,000 meters a second that it, or is it 1,500, where it stops being on fire. Yeah, there we go. All right. So then we should see the parachute deploy around 7,000 meters. Can't really see anything, but okay. There it goes. Pre-deployment is done. And then we should see actual deployment at 700 meters. I'm going to quick save again. This is the most common place. I usually time warp too much and then something breaks. But X6 should be okay for this. Okay, we're over the ocean apparently. X10 can be pretty bad when you actually touch down on the ground. All right, there we go. So recover vessel. We have done a manned orbit and return. Woohoo! Go team. So then, what's left? Now a moon mission. We do need to look at the biomes, though, on the moon. Thanks, Dave. Okay. We got a little bit of science from that, not much. Jebediah has advanced to level 2. It's always nice. And we can select Moon Probe. Or no, not Moon Probe. Moon Program. Okay, so this gives me a bunch more money for milestone gains. And is that it? I guess, and we get some money. So we finish it. So it's kind of like another contract to some level. It doesn't do a ton more than that. Massive scale launches to boldly go. That could be good. That's a decent amount of money. What's this do? Plus science to contract rewards, minus science to research costs, minus funds off launch cost. Oh, but it just costs a lot of money. That seems like a good idea. Media coverage makes things cheaper. You get reputation points. And then there's pilot, engineer, and scientist focused. These are helpful once you're doing the space station things. But I think for now this is fine. So now we want some moon contracts. Crude milestones, break the sound barrier. So this is the one I want. Complete moon orbit contract. What is that? Crude orbit of moon. Oh man. See, I don't love this because it makes you do a bunch of things that you might not need to do. So that kind of hurts. Manned return, start exploring moon. Fly by moon, return science from moon. Kind of interesting. We don't have great options. I guess what I can do first is moon. Moon flyby maybe? No, there's nothing here. Flyby Duna. Wow, that's a lot of money for an uncrewed flyby of Duna. Maybe I should do that. Let's try that. That sounds kind of fun, and that makes me a ton of money. I don't need money though. I already have 180 or 1.8 million. Money is kind of trivial in this game a little bit. Those are all uncrewed moon things. So I guess we should do breaking the sound barrier. Just, gosh, it's annoying you have to do each of those in a row. So what we can do... Oh, I was just here. So many options. Let's do a little ScanSat to check out the biomes of the moon. I think that's going to be helpful. So then we know where to land, so that we can land on, like, ideally a triangle where there's 3 different biomes where they all meet, and then I'll land right in the middle so I can do little hops to get to each. And we also need some more science because we don't have any modules that allow for 2 crew, and I'd like to send a pilot and a scientist, because a scientist will be able to reset things like mystery goo. So we're gonna start a new craft here, and we probably want polar orbit of the moon. Needs to have enough solar. Got all sorts of little things to care about. So we'll start with that. And then I think because they're lighter and more efficient, I want to do... First of all, let's make this thing look better. I like the gold foil for the... Where's the gold foil? There, it's at the end. I like that texture. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll do one of the little baby... What are they called? Methane engines? I feel like the methane engines are pretty cool. Mystery goo is a science experiment. So in the science experiment land, there's the Science Junior and the Mystery goo, which get you a ton of science, but you can't use them multiple times unless you have a scientist that can reset them. So if you have a space probe, you only get 1 use per, but if you have a scientist, you can reset them. So that's what I plan on doing. For the manned mission, at least. Okay, so I need to change the fuel to be methane oxide there. And again, just for comparison, I like to kind of see, because I'm still new with this whole liquid methane thing, how different it really is than a regular fuel tank. So our comparison will be the Spark engine. And let's go for a weight of 600 kilograms. That engine weighs 130, this weighs 140, okay. So I have 3,000 delta V with a weight of 600 kilograms. This one... 2,067. Something feels backwards. Did I do something wrong? Shouldn't this be higher? Oh, there we go. For some reason, this glitches out sometimes and still has liquid fuel and methane and oxidizer. So 2803, 29... Oh, and the mass. Okay, the mass is back down to lower. Okay, let's go up to 600 kilograms. 615 versus 615. Okay, so we get 2987 here, 3390 there. That's more than 10% more. TWR goes from 2 to 5. The TWR here goes from 3 to... Okay. So we lose a little bit of thrust, but gain more efficiency, I guess. And it'll matter. Right now we only have 60 kilograms of weight, but we're gonna have all sorts of stuff that will significantly change it. Our procedural batteries are still garbage, so that's a thing. Oh, that's a capacitor. We don't want capacitors, we want regular batteries. Okay, so for ScanSat, we need... there's so many science things. So how are these different? How much does that cost? 13,000 to unlock? So this one has a field of view of 3 degrees. That's 1.5 degrees. Biome, visual, low res, resource, low res. Biome, visual, low res. So that allows you to do resources too. It weighs a bit more. And it's designed to work up a lot higher. So like 210 kilometers at a field of view of 3 degrees versus 900 kilometers at 1.5 degrees. So, math time. Let's jump into KSP Calcs and figure out what that math is. So this would be a triangle. Essentially, what's the best way to do this math? So the length is the altitude. So the first one is, so let's just make a quick thing. So altitude is 210 kilometers. Oh gosh, we don't want that format though. Format, number, automatic. Versus, was it 900? And the angle was 1.5 degrees versus, oh my gosh. Format, number. 1.5 degrees versus 3 degrees. So then we think about right triangle trigonometry. You cut the angle in half, and then you look at the opposite side. This is the angle, 0.75 degrees. We want the so it's tangent of 0.75 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. So just kind of talking out, so the tangent of 0.75 would equal x over 210. So then if we want x, we do 210 times the tangent of 0.75. So equals a21 times the tangent of degree, or wait, we want radians, sorry. Radians of b21 over 2. Okay, there we go. So that gives you the kilometer kind of swath that it's, oh, and we need to double it because I'm doing half. So this guy's only going to get 5.5 kilometers side to side. This guy, the bigger one, because he's at 900 kilometers, is going to get 47 kilometers, even though the angle... Oh, I screwed this up. I switched the angles. Whoops. Okay, that's a bit more... I was like, I'd expect it to not be like 8 times more. So the swath of the smaller guy, when you put it at the right elevation, is 11 kilometers, and the swath of the bigger one is 23. So you'll end up scanning the planet in roughly half as many rotations. So we might as well go with that. I mean, seems cooler. It's a bit bigger. That's maybe a problem. So I guess the next question is, do I have any ScanSat? Oh, sorry, I didn't turn off the calculations. I do that. Do I have any contracts for ScanSat around the moon? So let's check that out. Mission control. CleverSat, ScanSat. So moon. low resolution resource, low resolution altimetry, multispectral. So we can do all three. And that will more than pay for this mission. Starting to get really warm in here. I might have to turn on the air conditioning. Ooh, dryer's done, apparently. Okay, so this guy can do biome and resource low res, but I still need altimetry low res, so that's this one. And it's weird that it can't be put on the top. You'd think it could be. So balancing this is always a little bit of a nightmare, but we should be okay there. And then I also want a telescope, because that gets you science for every single biome you cross over. This one, science for in-space high. Oh, here's another scan set. What's this one do? Resource high res. Okay, I don't care about that. What else? In space low biome dependent. Oh, there's another one that I can do. And hopefully between the two of these, I can get the torque balanced out. It's one of the more annoying. Maybe I should put this on top. And that can help balance the torque. Where is the torque balance? That's right around here. So it's actually left and right. There we go, 0.03 kilonewton meters. Let's turn on fine adjust. And then we can hopefully get that down to 0. And I think I've mentioned this before, but what I like to do is put a stronger engine. So like, let's take the strongest engine I have, or I guess we need a methane engine. There. So we'll put a stronger engine on because that will create more torque, and that helps me balance it. Oh crap. That helps me balance it even better. So if I now shift this just a tiny bit this way, in and out now. 819. Ooh, 0.00. It's never gonna get better than that. Okay. So then with a weaker engine, you have even less torque. So I've balanced these parts perfectly is what all that means. So now we also have to check how much energy are we gonna be using on a constant basis while we're scan-satting. And it looks like I'm in the wrong section. This guy uses 1 per second, and this guy uses 1 per second. So 2 per second plus my whatever this is called, satellite radar antenna thing. So 2 per second. What we'd really like is a relay. That's direct, that's direct. Is that relay? Nope, that's direct. 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 Are there any light relays? There's a relay, but it's only 20K. You're supposed to point those at like these bigger dishes, and you can do like a reflector thing. Like that adds 9 million to the power of this. So then, I don't know, that can add up, I guess. That's a direct. Here's a relay for 20 million. What's the moon's orbital height? I feel like it's around 100 million. 24 million. Relay 20 million. This is a relay for 8 million. Direct. Reflector. There's a relay for 128 million. So 2 of these should be adequate. And those use 2.4 per minute. So very little electric charge per second. $2.4 a minute. What even is that per second? It's like 5 a minute. So basically nothing. So our solar panels, assuming half of the time we're in the dark, need to be able to handle 2 per second. Or 4 per second, I mean. So each of these is rated for 1.6 a second. So if we point this thing towards the sun, we'll be fine. And you spend a lot more than half your time looking at the sun, so that should work. Hey look, transfer window planner's working. Sweet. Okay, it wasn't working before, again, because of that same issue that we were having. Sorry, I need to move this up a little bit so you can see how expensive current craft is. Alright, so now we need to do dark side calculations. Thankfully... Oh shoot, I just realized there's an issue with what I'm doing. I used the enhanced multispectral scanner, which wants to be at 900,000, but then I also used this guy, altimeter, which wants to be at 210,000. Drat. Is there another altimeter? There's an altimetry low res. A bigger field of view, holy cow. And the altitude can be higher. I could also just, yeah, I'll just go with like 750 kilometers. That's the maximum altitude for that guy. So we'll go with 700 kilometers, 700, 1, 2, 3. Again, this says kilometers, but it actually means meters. Okay, so the dark side transit period is exactly 30 minutes. 30 times 60 is 1,800 seconds. So I need 1,800 seconds of electric charge, which is quite a lot. Does that get more or less if I go closer? It's a little bit less, but not a huge difference. Like if I was at 400 kilometers, it's still 26 minutes, so it's not a huge difference either way. So I'll just stay at 700. 3. 700. 1, 2, 3. Oh, shoot. I also want to be in orbit low for the telescope and this guy, which I think is actually also ScanSat enabled. Am I remembering that right? Yeah. Interesting. So that can scan a biome. So do I even need this? I don't think I do. This is biome. And this is biome. So this does a combo of 2 things. So all my balancing was actually a waste because I can just put one of these. And now I need to balance it again. Crap. I guess I'll put this guy on the top now. Oh, maybe I should put this on the top. This is much heavier. These two are closer in weight. So put that on the top. And then... Okay, so we need to shift this guy over just a smidge. 0.01 is pretty good. I'd like to get that to 0, though. Fine, adjust. Come on. So what you can actually do is put, where is it? I think you can... I thought I could type stuff in. I guess not. That's just info. Okay. What I really want is a thing that moves the item less than I move the mouse. Because that's the most annoying part. There we go, there's 0. It's kind of ugly looking. Put that back out. This back over a bit. Oh, that actually makes it worse. Okay. Whatever. Okay, so low altitude I have listed on my ASP calcs. The moon. The low altitude or space in space low height is. Thought I had this listed. Maybe I don't. Atmosphere height. Atmosphere ASL. Orbital period. Number of biomes. Oh, I don't have that. Shoot. So how do I find out? Because what I need is the ability to change my orbit after I'm done scan setting to a low moon orbit. I think, okay, let's save this as moon scan sat. Okay, so we'll save that. I think I can find out in the tracking station. So we'll hop in there. And then we can select the moon. Okay, space high is 200 kilometers. So that means we need to be at an orbit below 200 kilometers. Feels like a lot. I mean, what's Kerbal? Oh, 800 kilometers. Okay. So in space low means we need to be below 200 kilometers. So then firing up our calculations again, we can see if we're in orbit of the moon at 700, 123, 700, 123, and we want to go down to 190, then that only costs us 160 delta V, which is not very much. Okay. That's good to know. All right. So we need 160 delta V to still be available. That's basically nothing. I should have a margin of error that's bigger than that anyway. Okay, so electricity is the next main idea that we need to work on, because we said we have 1800 seconds of dark time, and we're using a little more than 2 energy per second, so we need about 4,000 electric charge. So what I want are big batteries, and unfortunately I can't do the, what are they called? Procedural batteries. So 4,000. Let's go with 8 of these. That will do it. And we're gonna move these up just a bit. Perfect. Okay, so now we have enough electric charge. The orbital period versus dark time should be okay. 700 700 Does it give me the orbital period? It does not. That's kind of annoying. The batteries on top are just for more batteries and to make it long enough to accommodate all this stuff. I probably don't need them, and I could fit things in a slightly different way, but I just need a lot of batteries. And these seem to be denser. You know, these are only 200 a piece, so they're not. I feel like they don't actually store that much charge for the volume that they are. Okay, so then the next idea is delta V. We'd like more delta V. Going back to our delta V chart here. Transfer, capture, I'm not doing ascent, so I need about 2,000 on top of the 5,000, so I'd like 2,500 just to be safe in this top stage. So 2,500. It's actually maybe too big. I think I need a bit more width rather than length. So what I might do is change this to a fillet cylinder, so I can get more volume packed in. Yeah, there's 2750. I'm comfortable with that. And then I think maybe I should change. Those batteries are so ugly. So I can put 2 of these on. I'm gonna have to rebalance it again, but I'm okay with that. Put that there. Put solar panels kind of facing up. Put that guy, and then the imaging platform. Okay, that's looking a bit better. It's like a little pill. And we've got plenty of delta V. Our electricity went a little too low though, so we need to handle that. I think I can fit 2 more of these right there. That gets me 4,000 electric charge, which is extra 10%, which I think is enough. And then we just need to balance it. Hopefully for the last time, I'll do the more official way. Grab the larger liquid methane engine, pop that on there. The torque gets higher, so that helps me balance out the torque. Fine adjust. Start with this. How can this guy help out? A little bit to the right. A little bit in. .15. Ooh, 0.02. There we go. That's good enough. Because this has a, you know, the engine has a gimbal on it, so it can easily handle the rest of the fighting against the torque. All right. Fine adjust, we're done with you. Dark side calculations, we're done. This should be able to transmit plenty of distance. The only problem is I don't have another satellite to transmit with this one, so if this is on the far side of Kerbin, or I mean the far side of the moon compared to Kerbin, it won't have connection. But I think I'm okay. It'll get the job done eventually. Okay, so this is the pill with plenty of delta V, and we need to launch this into space with a fairing. So I need a decoupler. I keep forgetting how to get there. Module, decoupler. So we want that guy. And then we'll do a fairing. Procedural fairing. I like 5 sections. I think it looks the coolest. And then we want the conic shape. And there we go. Then for this stage, we will go with the 1.25. With what engine? So this is the engine that we need to burn to finish out our orbit. So a Terrier's probably good for that. But we don't want a 5-minute burn though. Okay, so 2400 should be enough to finish out an orbit around Kerbin. And then we need a decoupler again. A new liquid tank. This time, I'm basically going to do the same thing I did before. We'll do a cone. 2.5 to 1.875. No, I think Smart Tank is useless. Oh my gosh, I figured it out. Hide non-procedural parts. This is what's been hiding. Oh, we can do a default texture though. I like the Soyuz as a default texture. So that's what's been hiding my decouplers this whole time. Oh my gosh. That took me this many hours to find. That's really... Gosh, I posted on the forums trying to figure it out. I posted everywhere. Because previously these were what were causing some lag. I might just uninstall it since I don't use it. But anyway, we want a cone that goes out to 1.875. And then we want a cylinder that is 1.875. A little bit longer. And then we want an engine like the Bobcat. And so this stage is 2400, so this needs to be a minimum of 2600 atmospheric. So there we go. Problem is TWR is a bit low. Do I have a better engine that's that size? Don't think I do. I could just go probably to the skipper and do a 2 meter instead. That's probably a little smarter. So the diameter goes to 2.5. We'll definitely need it to be a bit shorter. Make that longer because it's a bigger cone. Okay, and I think I'm happy with 2800 delta V. Yeah, that just looks weird. It's so fat. $280, $260. That's also $280. That's a lot more thrust. The single bore. Maybe I should try this guy. Because that has a lot more thrust, which is what I want on the first stage. So we'll go with that. And we'll just make this a little longer. That allows for some more delta V. Okay, and this should be able to fly without fins because there's no non-aerodynamic parts. I can throw some structural launch clamps on it. Now this costs 7,000. Is that worth saving? Nah. I could put parachutes on it and stuff, but I think this is good enough because we've got 3,000 on the first stage, 2,400 on the next stage. 5,400 should be enough to get to orbit, and then 2,700 should be enough to get to the moon, inject myself into orbit, and then go into low orbit to collect some science. I have the transmission satellites, I have power for the dark side, and I have solar panels. Those are the pieces I generally forget. And the last thing I should check on is, does this have reaction wheels? It does not. So this is where I almost screwed up. We want some tiny gyroscopes, and that will allow me to actually turn that thing once it's in space. There we go. Okay. I think we're ready. We just gotta check our staging. First stage is that. And then the next stage is going to be decoupling and then blowing up the fairing, which probably should drop the ejection power down, a little bit more torque. Save that, and let's go for it. Moon ScanSat, here we go. Gotta stay hydrated. The nice thing about the moon is it is not inclined in any way. So you can just go straight east and that's all you need. All right, here we go. Bam. We have liftoff. I'm gonna tilt over slightly. We're gonna try a nice gravity turn launch. So somewhere between 5 and 10 degrees is a good start. This is a bit less stable than I thought it would be. Oh, we should point prograde for sure. And then once we're at a minute, we start slowing down. Our Atmo efficiency is very low, which is good. That means the amount of drag that our craft is experiencing is very small. So that means we're not losing a lot to drag. Okay, I'm going to switch over to orbit. And I want to keep that at 1 minute. Ooh. I need a bit more attitude control. We do have a little bit of drag still, and our surface velocity is kind of going up, so it's starting to want to turn my craft. Okay, keeping that apoapsis a minute in front of me. I might go for like a minute and actually, because I need a bit more time. My second stage is only 3 minutes. Or it takes 3 minutes, which is longer than I'd like. Alright, I think I can jettison the fairing. So I can select the fairings themselves. Cut for a second, eject those while they spin off, and then boost on past them. Oops, I accidentally went a little too hard in the paint there. Nice little star shape. And then now is also a good time for the panels. Extend those solar panels, and for the... how's my time? Need a bit more thrust. High gain antennas, extend panel. Okay, so we will stage. Boost away. We got a little too distracted there. Unfortunately, we're going to have some issues with this stage, because we still have 2 minutes, 40 seconds of burn. I might have screwed this up, actually. I'm going to keep this 10 degree above the horizon to keep adding more vertical speed, and we'll see if we can make this work. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. This is a slow one. Do a little bit 3x time warp here. And we're almost at the apoapsis. We still have a lot of speed left to add, so that's not great. Try to tilt down closer to 10 degrees. Otherwise, I'm wasting a lot of fuel. Okay, actually, this seems to have worked. Seem to be okay. Hold on. Stop the time warp. What are we doing? Need some vertical speed. Almost in orbit. Okay, that's pretty much a circular orbit. We still have 400 delta V left on that, which is nice. Oh, I did the thing again where I forgot that you need, shoot. I forgot that you need, what's it called? Electricity to preserve the methane. So I didn't take that into my calculations in terms of how much power we need on the dark side of the moon. Oh yeah, precise maneuvers back. This is so nice. So what we can do is we can focus view on the moon, zoom in a little bit, and then easily just shift, you know, some of our numbers here. to make sure we end up in a polar orbit. Can I actually do that on the front end? Probably not. Because if you think about the way this orbit starts, if I do normal or anti-normal, we're not going to hit the moon. It's really right around here that we want to add some normal. And you can see that makes a huge difference. Like all I need is maybe 30. And then we can easily get into a polar orbit there. Like that almost looks perfectly polar. And that's only, 30 delta V. Okay, sweet. So we should be able to just warp to the first maneuver. I'm going to save. And then we will start burn in 37 minutes. And the electric charge that this actually uses is so small that as long as I don't run out, we should be fine. I guess I should do some experiments around Kerbal. Get some free science. Easy peasy. Reset. Sometimes you're only over a biome for like a split second. Okay, 27 minutes. Oh, look, another biome. Missed it. Okay. Let's see. Now what? Arid midlands? Why not? So many arid highlands. Arid lowlands. Jeez. Inland water. Okay, start burn in 4 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's get positioned here. Oh, I'm pretty much exactly towards it, which is nice. Okay, T minus 20. 10. Wow, it's surprisingly close to like the... Oh, that's the desert beer field. I see. Okay, here we go. Starting our burn. Better burn time thankfully calculates different stages and all that jazz, so we should be okay with that. Okay, methane engine is a go. And this is a 2-minute burn, so we'll do some little time warp action. And away we go. Look. Why not? Do some more science while we're on the way out. Stage destroyed, that's fine. Wasn't that valuable. Okay, speed things up again. 500, 400, 300, 200, 100. We'll kill the time warp. Oh, I'm a little off the maneuver node here. 60, 50, 40, start to slow down, 30, 20, 10, and creep down to 0. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then our next node is in 32 minutes. Do some more science here. Fast forward to that. Not after, or wait until do some more science though. I mean, it's like 24 science every time I do that, or 23 science every time I do that. So we've probably gotten a couple hundred science from that, right? Yeah, 334. It's not bad. Okay. 15, 12. One, and here we go. Let's get positioned. Okay. And we need 30 meters of delta V. Time forward a little bit, and here we are. Start burning. Bam. Okay, how's it look? Not quite like we drew it up. We need a bit more normal. There we go, that's looking better. And then what I'd really like is to get that periapsis to the 700 meters that I want. So I'll add a little maneuver so we can just kind of play with that and see how it goes. Is it radial that's gonna do it or normal? It might actually be normal. There we go. Okay. So basically I need to go anti-normal. And we'll lower that down to 700,000. There we go. And then here you can see the joy of precise maneuver. I can literally hit snap to periapsis and then circularize. And that is one of the nicer things in the world. So now we should be able to just fast forward to our burn. Hopefully we'll see the sun soon. There it is. Keep our electric charge up. Our burn is in 2 days, so we'll fast forward time a bit more. 1 day. Finally fix the 12-hour day thing. And we are high over the moon, so we can transmit a little bit of data there. World's first milestone. Oh, we get a ton of money now. Holy crap. From that, what was it called? The strategy. Okay, 6 hours still till our burn, so we'll speed time up a little bit. 4 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, we're getting there. 4 minutes, 3, 2, 1. 13 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. Burn. Oh, it's beautiful. Makes me want to cry. It's so cute. Little pill satellite. Okay, and then I also want to activate multispectral scan and activate radar scan. Oh crap. No, I removed the resource one and forgot that I took a resource contract, so I'm not gonna get that one finished. I don't really care about having the resource map, but I just forgot I had taken a contract for it, so that's gonna mess me up a bit. Okay. We are in almost a perfectly circular orbit. Our eccentricity is less than 0.1%. So that's awesome. And now we should be able to just check out the, let's see, the small map. And we can see our scans come in as we go. Oh crap, why is that? We shouldn't be losing power. What's up with that? That's not good. When we go behind the dark side, is it just because of the time warp? We did the math. We should have more than enough. Crap. Because then that actually loses us some oxidizer and stuff. What else is costing me power? Oh, does this cost more electricity? I think it does. I think this is 1.5. So I did my calculations based on 2 a second, but I needed to do the calculations based on 2.5 a second, which is another 900 electric charge. Dang. So what I can do, this sounds kind of silly, but I could turn them off until my orbit is more in line or less in line with the sun, right? Because partway through the year, then this orbit is actually going to be fully sunlit. So I could just wait half a year. That's actually an option. I don't know if it's a good one. Something's on the floor. Okay. You know what? I don't think we're gonna lose enough oxidizer and methane for it to matter. So we're just gonna carry on with this. Oop, oop. Too fast. Yeah, I mean, we're losing basically no oxidizer. It's not even changing. So I think we're okay. Something went wrong there. Why was that not bleeding? Settings. Oh, is it? Oh, that's what I forgot. So when you put yourself in a polar orbit, you're essentially... Oh, and I also am not connected to Kerbal the whole time. That's part of the problem, too. But when you put yourself in a polar orbit, you're essentially waiting for the planet to rotate underneath you. And the moon has a... Why can't I select the moon? I don't know why. Anyway, the moon has a day length of like 20 days. It's a month, right? It's tidally locked. And so it takes a month for the moon to actually turn around underneath your orbit. So that's part of why this scan is happening so slow. It's slowly getting there. 43%. Definitely not fast. That warp speed didn't even seem to work. What if I go to the tracking station? Can I go a little faster? That's what I'm wondering. Okay. Moon scan sat. Let's check it out from this angle. Oh, this is min-miss. That's why it's full and done. What I actually want is the small map. Can I get to that? Scan sat, visible buttons. Oh, I guess we can't do the small map from here. Draw overlay biomap. Let's do that. Focus on the moon. That's a little easier on the eyes. Okay, so we can see it getting done. There we go. Okay, that looks like it's done now. We got our contracts complete for the ScanSat survey. We entered orbit of the moon. We made a decent amount of money off that. And now we need to reduce our orbit so that we can go get science, which will be nice. Oh, and I need to reset the moon. Okay, now we're at 100%. Great. And I can also get science from these by analyzing the data. Now this one, I think I want the moon to go back to default too. Okay, so now we need to reduce our orbit down to, what was it, 190? We only need 160 delta V for that, so that should be easy. Oh, we should also check, is our periapsis going to be... Aha. So we need to be careful about this. We should actually, down here, because we're not going to have, what's it called? Reception? It's not the right word for it. We're not going to have a connection. So I should wait until I'm underneath and then do my retrograde burn and also cancel out my vertical speed so that will stay circular. There we go. Okay, so we need 190. There we go. Fast forward to that 190. An hour and 20 minutes to periapsis. Where even is the moon? There we go. 5 minutes. Of course, we have a lot of science to do, so it's stopping me consistently. Nice. Each of these biomes is going to be 47-ish science. So that's awesome. Deploy all. I'll keep this window close. Okay. This is close enough to circularize. Slow down until that also hits 190. Yeah, we screwed that up a little bit. We need vertical speed here to circle up. Okay, now we're a little too slow, so we need some prograde. There we go. That's close enough. Okay, and now we'll just do some time warping around the planet. Deploy all. Deploy all. Gotta keep an eye on our electric charge. Deploy all, transmit. Deploy all, transmit. Deploy all. Do we even have reception back here? We do. Oh, and you know what I can do is turn off the stop scan and stop scan. Send in the data there for those. Stick with 1,000 for a minute. I'll probably have to go around a few times to see more biomes. There we go. Any more biomes? I guess we can see if we got them all with X science. Okay, so we want space, low, moon. Haven't seen lowlands yet? Also, why does it only say 0 out of 2? Shouldn't it show more? Oh, space near moon. That's what it is. Okay, so exotic craters is the only thing I haven't seen. Cool. Let's see if we can see those exotic craters. I guess we need to be in map view. Notable craters. Voronal craters. Wonder what exotic craters look like. Rare craters. I don't even know which ones are exotic. Go with the free camera. I think that'll help me, yeah, stay same perspective. Whee! Let's go for a couple more days, I guess. The problem is it might even be missing it because maybe the exotic craters are visible for such a short time that the time warp might not be catching it. Another thing I could do is try to... I still have 938 meters a second. I could try to manipulate my orbit to go over 1. Would probably actually be a more effective way to do this. I am a completionist sometimes. Okay, so let's figure this out. So we need this zoom map is actually what we want. And we need to zoom out until I see exotic craters, which I still don't. Exotic craters is the lightest of pink. Is that down here? Where's that showing up? Rare craters, notable craters. Where is it? Okay, they disappear if we go right, so that means it's probably to the left. So somewhere... Oh, is it up there? Is that the exotic crater? I didn't mean to... I zoomed the wrong way. We lost him. Up. No, down. There it is. So somewhere on here is exotic craters. I really wish there was a way to highlight a certain biome. I've wanted that for a long time. Okay, back to the right. There's exotic. Zoom in again. This is how I narrow it down, but it's not the funnest way to do it. Zoom in. Exotic disappears, so we go looking for it. It's up. Exotic is still there. Zoom in. Exotic's still there. Okay, maybe we can finally find it. There it is. Exotic craters. So now we can pinpoint what we're looking for. I zoomed in too much. So right, zoom in, down, zoom in, up, zoom in. There it is. Okay, so we will say exotic craters right there. Set. And now we should be able to see it on the map view. And then once we have, so we're gonna have to move forward a few days. Makes me a little dizzy. Whee. Okay. So that has to rotate underneath us, which it looks like we're still a bit away from. Gosh. Okay, so we're getting there, we're getting there. Should be close, actually. Yeah, we actually should pass right over it. On this next pass. So we should see science alert stop us right about now. Oh, it didn't. Dang. Okay, so then what we do is at the top, when we're 90 degrees away from it, we do some normal or anti-normal, and that should twist our orbit. We have to go over that tiny little circle, so that's the problem. Okay, so that is twisting the wrong way. We need regular normal. Okay. I think we're gonna go right over it. No. It's the hope anyway. Looks like we're still right over it. That is exotic craters, yep. Okay, here we are. We should see ourselves pop onto the little screen soon. Maybe. There we are. Oh, we're the blue one. I thought we were the orange one for some reason. Okay, so crap. So orange is the past and blue is the future. I get it. Okay, well, you know, you win some, you lose some. So we'll try again. Here we'll come up to the pole. Well, a 90-degree away from that, which is, I guess, right about here. And then we need to move the blue right over it, which that looks perfect. Oh, a raid. Welcome, everyone, from Show Me the Music. That's fun. We are currently trying to hit the last crater with some science. So we'll see how this goes. We're using ScanSat and the small map to try to plan out going directly over it, so hopefully this finally works. Gotta hit every biome with our science. So we should go right over it right now. Yes, this is the moon, although it's called the moon, M-U-N, because, you know, Kerbal Space Program has some different names for planets, but... Alright, we did it! Yay! Deploy all. So we got our science experiments over the moon's exotic craters. That was a lot of work for just 45 more science points, but I'll take it. Sweet. Okay, so we've got our moon ScanSat mission complete. We made a decent amount of money and about 600 more science, which was nice. So now we can go back to the Space Center and decide what it is we're going to do next. I don't actually know what we're going to do next. Should we go to Duna, which is basically Mars, or should we land on... I think landing on the moon makes the most sense for science purposes, so I can get some more advanced technology to actually go to other planets. So I think we want better command modules. Can any of these hold two Kerbals? Crew capacity 111. Dang it. So this one, I can have a crew capacity of 2. You can mine resources. So you can mine ore, and then there are some parts in the game that allow you to change ore into fuel. So you can like refuel on other planets, which is a pretty cool way to do it. I haven't actually ever done that before, weirdly enough, but you can do it. Okay, so we'll unlock these command modules. And then I probably... Oh, I guess I could have just done that one, because that's a re-entry module, which is nice. But we'll be okay. I should probably also get some better landing struts. And what else do I need? It's not quite like Factorio, but yes, you can at least, you know, it's not anything like Factorio. I mean, you land and a drill extends from your craft and you get ore, and then you click a button to start refining it into fuel, and that's about it in terms of automation in this game. So it's pretty neat, but it's definitely not quite as cool as Factorio in terms of the automation. I could get nuclear propulsion. That's definitely not necessary, though. What's this? Bigger heat. Oh, see, here's a drill-o-matic mining excavator. So that's actually what you use to mine stuff. And then little holding tanks for the ore. I'm trying to think of what else I actually need. Probably nothing. I think we're good to go. I might want one of these little monopropellant engines, so let's grab that. But I think we can start designing our moonlander to collect hecka science. And we're going to want a lot of delta V on the landing stage so we can hopefully hop to a couple biomes. That's the whole reason we just did the mission we did, is so that we know where all the biomes are and we can land in a spot where multiple biomes are meeting together with the intent of being able to collect, well, multiple biomes worth of science. So we're going to want probably this command pod. And we're definitely going to need a fuel tank. Although, does this have... Whoa, okay. Does this have a blader on its own? No, so this is what we're going to want to land back on Kerbal. So we're going to need a heat shield. And then we probably don't need 500 ablator, and that actually weighs quite a bit, so reducing that down to like 150 is a good start. I like that color. And then we are also going to want a science experiment storage unit. Let's see. Are these the same things? Oh, that's not the right size. So then that will allow us to store all of the various science really easily up there in the top. And then we're going to want a parachute on that. I think this parachute will be good enough. That looks kind of silly, but whatever. I'm okay with it. And then we want to actions like that. Landing speed, 4 meters a second. Altitude pre-deployment, 10,000 should be okay, or even 7,000. Deployment at 1,000, just to make sure we slow down. Deployment speed, shorten that a little bit. Okay. So then this should be able to land safely. Then we gotta figure out... Wait, does that actually have a decoupler on it, or is that just... No. Heat shield jettison. Does that jettison the heat shield itself? I think it does, yeah. So we actually need a decoupler down here. Let's see, cargo. So I guess we want something like this, but smaller. Oh, that's not what I want at all. Where are the service bays? Why am I not finding them? Are they in structural, maybe? They are not. Well, they're here somewhere. Oh, it's payload. That's what it is. So these are nice because then you can put science parts in them. So I generally like to have these. And what would be really nice, actually, is we'll save a lot of money if we return the science experiments. So we can put the science experiments in here. And then we'll have a decoupler of the 1.8 meter variety. And then we'll have a fuel tank. I don't know how big. And an engine. The question is, what engine? So we want a high ISP. So that will give us a lot more delta V. So we could do one of these liquid hydrogen engines, which have a crazy high. The problem is it's very long, which can get in the way of things. I can always shorten this and then have fuel tanks that kind of go down alongside it. That could be a cool look. You know, I could do something like this. Make these... I did a design like this not that long ago. I feel like making these like fillet cylinders or something and extending those down could be kind of cool. Something like that. That looks pretty neat. And tank type needs to be liquid hydrogen plus oxidizer. Now all of that is only 1700 delta V, unfortunately, because the volume is not enough. You know, we could get a lot of mass, or a lot of delta V out of it if we went a bit further. So maybe liquid hydrogen's not good because the volume we need of fuel is too much. So let's take a look at the liquid methane then, which we were just using. Because that's a ISP of 382, which is a decent amount better than the Terrier. So now we need to change these to liquid methane, or methane oxide. And that gets us, yeah, that's quite a bit of delta V. And then if we're landing on the moon, ooh, that's not good. Our TWR, since we're landing, needs to be a bit higher than that. So let's grab the next liquid methane engine. That only has 12 kilonewtons of thrust in a vacuum, which is shown right there. So the next liquid methane engine is this one, which has 85 kilonewtons. That's a lot better. You usually want a TWR somewhere around 10 when you're landing on a planet and lifting off multiple times. That just allows for a lot of control. And then we're gonna make this skinnier. All right, see you later, Dave. Thanks for stopping by. It's been fun having you. So I'm gonna make this longer, and then we can move these back up a little bit. There we go, that looks cool. So we got the fuel tanks kind of going around the engine. And then I think I can make the diameter just a smidge bigger on these. Allow for some more delta V. And then we need landing legs. Those look good. And we actually want them to be up a little higher because we want our center of gravity to be low compared to the landing legs, and then we can angle them out a bit so that we have a wider base. And I kind of don't want them to stick out extra, so I'm going to put them kind of to the side, like that. And down a little bit. There we go. Our center of mass. Oof. I mean, that's going to be a little rough to land on a slope, but we'll just make sure not to land on a slope, I think is the goal here. Okay. So we got that. Now we need a few more things. We need science experiments out the wazoo. So we'll open up the service bay. And we will stuff science in here like there's no tomorrow. So, let's see, starting with the small ones, we need the thermometer, the barometer. Those ones don't, or do they? Didn't think they affected. Wait, why do I have torque? This should be a perfectly balanced craft. But somehow there's torque. That didn't make much sense. There we go. Okay, whatever. Oh, maybe the size didn't change on all of these. That's the problem. Okay, anyway. So, okay, we've got the... Do we have the thermometer? Where did it go? No, it's gone. Okay, so we've got the thermometer, the barometer, the seismic accelerator. This one is the big money maker. It's worth a lot of science. Okay, I'm a little confused on how the torque came back again. Because these are not adding torque. These are not part of it. Anyway, let's keep going. Surface scanning module, is that a science thing? I don't think it is. No. The seismic sensor pods, no. Now this one, the micro goo containment pod, a scientist can reset it, which is awesome. So we'll put that near the front. The Kerbal core drill can grab up to 3 samples, which is great. And we'll put that here. Systems check. Oh, that's the wrong direction. This is why we check it. Okay, so that should be able to drill down. Now, I'd rather... It's probably not going to be far enough. Just want to make sure the torque is gone from these. I think every time I change the size, it messes up the symmetry. Yeah, so those are the only torque producing items. Is this mystery goo, and then I'll put this on the other side. Probably like over here. Okay, continuing on, we have the magnetometer boom, which can be in here, but it needs to kind of face out the front. Otherwise it won't be able to extend. Surface landed. We should put this on the opposite side. Maybe right here. The Gorsat is only in space high. I'm really looking for surface biome dependent science experiments. Seismic impact hammer, surface only hammer, handled by EVA. That's the one that needs the pods, so I'm skipping that one. Soil moisture sensor. That's in space low. We already have a magnetometer. Scanning arm, those are more scanning type things. That's the mystery goo inline. We have the micro goo, so that's great. Science Junior, I guess, is the last one that we need. And we'll put that... Oh gosh, it's huge. I forgot how huge this is. Can we fit one in here? We actually can, I think. Just barely. These rotation buttons are always difficult there. Something like that in the middle, and then shift it up. And I'll put this micro goo on the top. So I think that's fine. We'll just have to fix our torque issues and make sure a scientist can reach that. Okay, I should probably move it forward a smidge. Yeah, that actually fixes most of the torque issue. And then the magnetometer will just have kind of set back a little bit. All right, that should handle most of the science. We need at least some solar panels. Can never figure out the rotation. There we go. Oh, I see it rotates on there, which is weird. Okay, I probably want them here. And then we'll rotate that way. So that way they don't add more width to the craft. And then electric charge. We're gonna want a lot of electric charge. So we'll put some batteries. Like on the inside of this. So that'll help me run experiments. And yeah, I mean, I think this can work. So this is Moon Manned Lander. So let's throw 2 Kerbals in here. We're gonna want, yeah, Jebediah and Bob, because we want a scientist. And then we can test this using the simulator. We want moons landed. Start simulation. So let's see if this thing can land and give me science. Guess we'll find out. Gotta drink some water. All right, I should extend the landing gear. Okay, so yep, that's okay. Oh, don't fall over. Okay, so it's a little heavy, so we probably want spring strength to be a bit higher based on how much it just sunk down. Wow, I can't believe it's not falling over. So we're going to test a couple things. One is, you know, if I observe the materials bay, which is worth 150 science, which is awesome, can I collect that and then send Bob out? And can he fly over and reset? Restore the science junior. Okay, he can. Sweet. So that means I can collect science from multiple biomes. Is what that'll be good for. And then let's test our engine. Why are they not showing us full? That's strange. I should go fix that. But anyway. Okay. So we can create a little trajectory for ourselves on the surface. Land in another biome. We're just kind of testing it. Oh, we need a attitude control. Does that have torque? It does have some torque. That's good. But I'll probably want a little bit more. So I should put a reaction wheel there to help it stay stable. And so then let's just test what landing is like. So this is a nice little suicide burn calculator so that it shows me if I burn at the last second, how long is it going to take me? It says 16 seconds. So you can usually wait until your impact is about 2/3 is my rule of thumb. So like 11 seconds. And then I should be pretty close to landing perfectly on the surface without wasting fuel. So you can see 2/3 was actually too conservative, and I could have waited a smidge longer to do my burn. But yeah, we'll slow down to nice 5 meters a second, 4, 3, and then you just kind of coast your way down. And there you go. And that's a landing. So this was a great test. We can terminate the simulation. This proves that we can actually land on the moon successfully, etc., etc. I probably need to go soon, which is a bummer. I might actually fly this mission tomorrow, but I want to finish building the craft. So we're going to need, I think we estimated, let me pull up the Delta V map. Yeah, so we're going to need 4 plus 9, so 1,300 Delta V to get back, is what I'm estimating. So 1,300 Delta V to get back, plus 900 to land, so we really need 2,200. It'd be nice if some of the landing stage was in the stage below this. What I might do, seems a little weird, but hear me out. Oh, first of all, let's maximize the fuel here. That gets me a little more Delta V. And then I'm gonna put a decoupler on the side of these. And then these are going to be probably sparks are plenty. And we'll make those longer. And this allows for some extra Delta V, although it makes the profile too wide. I don't love that. Maybe I won't do that. I should probably just have it underneath. So we need the 06 decoupler here. And then I'll do a fuel tank, procedural fuel tank, cone. I guess it doesn't really need to be a cone because aerodynamics doesn't matter. So I'm going to do a big flat one because I've got all this space anyway. So that's not going to increase anything. And now I can have a very high ISP engine like the Terrier here. This probably needs to be a bit heavier because we're already at 10 tons. And so I generally like to triple to quadruple from one stage to the next. So that gets us to 20 tons. And that adds 2,000 Delta V, which is enough to get from the orbit of... Oh, and sorry, we need a bit more gyroscope power. So these have 0.5. So with 4 of these, I am giving myself a lot more torque. That would be helpful. And then with this stage, I could add some RCS thrusters, which could be handy. Mainly used for attitude adjustment, which would be here. Those are too small. I need at least this size. And then we'll do a procedural RCS tank, which, where are those? That one, I haven't bought it yet. So 2.65. Okay. So then if we use RCS build aid, we can see, I think it's this one. Yeah, how much torque am I going to get when these thrust, which is 1.8 kilonewton meters. I like it to be about 1/10 of the mass, which they will be. And you can actually get a little bit more out of it if you rotate these, because you want these to be perpendicular to the center of mass, and that'll give the most thrust. So we can get 2.5 kilonewton meters out of this, which is great. And then I also like to see burn time is 7 minutes of RCS, which is like way more than I need. So we can reduce that down. That saves me more weight. Perfect. Okay, so that should be enough to get to the moon and even do most of the landing, which is what I want. And now this is what I'm going to put in a fairing and try to get to orbit. So I need 5,000 delta V underneath this, which is kind of a lot, but I think we can do it. So a decoupler on this guy, and then we need probably to do some like strut to root part to make sure this doesn't wobble around as much. These should be auto strut to part. Okay, that'll help a little bit. And then we need a fairing base. Now this fairing base can be a lot larger. Wait, what? Is that really my maximum size? That's dumb. Okay. Moon manned lander. I thought we already saved this, but can we get a larger procedural fairing base? Because we need a bigger one. Is that in aerodynamics? Procedural fairing base ring. Where actually is the next upgrade for it? Doesn't seem to be in any of these. Missing it? Why am I not seeing the upgrade? Procedural fairings max diameter 12. Okay, what was it before that? Okay, so we basically go from 1 meter to 12 meters without anything in between? Is that what I'm seeing? How's that look? That's frustrating. Or maybe the upgrade's somewhere else. I guess I can look here. Procedural fairing. Yep, that's the only place it is. So we can get this one, but that doesn't actually upgrade anything. Bummer. There should be a max diameter upgrade in here, I feel. And there is not. Maybe that's something I'll modify as well. I don't like the procedural parts being limited. It kind of defeats the purpose of them for me. Like, why should I have to use 7 fuel tanks rather than 1 large fuel tank? It's just better for Kerbal Space Program. The game runs a lot better with less parts. There's really no reason to use a lot of parts. So. But now I do have the fairing... Gosh, where is it? Payload. Fairing ring. Where is it, though? Can't see. Didn't I just unlock that? Not in payload? Wait, where did even the procedural fairing base go? What on earth? There it is. I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, this probably... Yeah, it's maxed out at 1.5 right now, but let's just imagine it's going to be a 2.5. So then, underneath that, we will have a 2.5 very long rocket base. This is going to be the orbital insertion stage. And this should probably have a tiny bit of extra radius. Let's get the fairings popped onto there. And then we'll do, what kind of shape? Atlas is cool, Delta's cool. Ooh, Proton. That's actually really neat, and it kind of fits with my craft. Okay, so then the engine we're gonna need on the bottom of this big boy is probably the bore or bigger. So we're back to Kerbin. The bore has 300. Skipper has 320. Talking about ISP. So the skipper is probably a little bit better. 2-minute burn. Let's go a little bit more mass. Let's go to 60 tons. Okay. So we've got that, and then, so that's 2.4K, so we need about 3K on the bottom stage. Jeez. Okay. This is getting crazy. So now we need a decoupler again. We'll do the 25. And then do another liquid tank. This is probably going to end up being too long. And let's go with a biggest engine we have, the mainsail. Yeah, that is the biggest engine we have. That just doesn't, yeah, that's nowhere near good enough. Unless I, like, make this a packet of them. Then that gets a little better. That's so expensive, though. I should probably just use solid boosters at that point. Yeah, speaking of solid boosters, what's What's this size look like? So if I put all those in one stage, that's 1700 delta V. Okay, what if I do something like this? Oh, I need decouplers. So what if I do these four, and then I do another one, and we do these. I think that's enough. So let's how do I grab that decoupler? There we go. Grab the decoupler, put it towards the bottom, grab this one, put that down a little bit. Now let's see if the auto struts are working now. They were really buggy last time where it wouldn't let me actually click on things. It's still the same way. What the heck? That is really weird, but then they connect afterwards. Let's just do auto strut. Grandparent part. Auto strut here, grandparent part. Hopefully that does some good. And then we need little caps on these, so aerodynamics, nose cone, this one, and then the bigger one. Is that this? Yeah. Okay, so 4 launch, and then these decouple at the same time as the next launch. Okay. The TWRs look okay. This is a little high on the back end, so we're going to lower this down. Yeah, I think that's better. And then those decouple, and this launches. That can be the same stage. And then the skipper stage has... Wait, only 1500 delta V? Doesn't sound right. I broke something. That can't be right. What's going on with that? Well, these are like jacked up somehow. What did I do? I don't know. Okay, so this is saying 2396 of delta V. That's correct. So I just messed up the decouplers somehow. Okay, you gotta make sure they're on straight, and then this needs to go on straight. There we go. Okay, 2400 plus 2600. That's barely enough. What might be better is if I actually reach the max size on the fuel tank. If I put a little bit more fuel on this stage, just to make sure that we've got enough. So that'll reduce the solid fuel stage, but it'll increase this. Staging is still messed up though. Okay, so this one, then decouple, launch those, and then when I decouple those, that's when this stage actually ignites. Okay, so 2743 plus 2530. Okay, that's getting closer to what I like. Let's go a little bit longer here. Okay, so this is 2500 at sea level, adding with 2800. That should be enough to get into orbit, as long as I tilt over enough. And then we'll fix this fairing, allow for larger max fairing rings, and this should do it. So this should allow for a manned mission to the moon, which is awesome. Now, it feels a little weird that we have fairings around a compartment with Kerbals in it, because how do they get in there? But, you know, this is a video game. We're not gonna kill ourselves trying to make it realistic. Some players do, but I don't really feel like this game is very realistic in terms of the actual parts you're creating and stuff. So I don't know how fairings work with manned missions, but these solid rocket boosters are saving us a lot of money. This would have been 200, 300,000 easy if we had used more liquid fuel on these base stages. And yeah, I think I'm going to call it a stream for now. Thank you all who came in with Show Me the Music's raid. It's been great to have you. If you enjoy Factorio or other sort of city builder type games, right now I'm playing Songs of Six, feel free to give me a follow and find me on YouTube, because most of my Factorio videos are on YouTube. And yeah, you guys all have a great day. I'm going to head out here. Gotta get some other stuff done, but I'll be back streaming some more Kerbal Space Program on Tuesday at the latest. Generally stream Tuesdays, Thursdays. So have a great day, everybody.